Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this week there's a lot to talk about with the new MacBook Pros coming soon, iPads, iPhone 17e, iOS 26.3, and more. This is your weekly Apple News update for the week of February 9th, 2026. Now, in the weekend follow-up video, I mentioned how Tim Cook talked about a 50th anniversary celebration on April 1st to mark 50 years of Apple. Mark Gurman this weekend shared the entirety of what was said, where he only shared a snippet before. Basically, he was saying that it was an extraordinary accomplishment what Apple has done, and we've been going back through old archives, old photographs, and we've been going back through the products, the services, the people, and I'm struck by how much Apple has changed things, how much Apple has changed the world, how much Apple has given to the world, and are we going to celebrate it? You better believe it. So it looks like we could have some new products then, maybe some 50th anniversary products, I really hope. We haven't seen something such as maybe a product red iPhone in a long time, so we could maybe see some sort of celebration version. I would love to see that, but we'll have to wait and see. Ferrari today revealed the interior of its upcoming electric car, and you might be thinking, why am I talking about Ferrari in an Apple video? Well, former Apple designer Johnny Ive and his team at Love From designed the new interior of the Ferrari Luce. It's pretty obvious once you see it that it's designed by him. As we scroll down, you can see they sort of look like iPads and different things, but the steering wheel itself, if you scroll down here, you'll see you can even change between different colors to see what it would look like, just like it's on the Apple website. So this is pretty obvious. It was designed by him. How it will age, I'm not really sure. I think it looks pretty good overall, but some of the things I don't really like are sort of a slapped-on tablet style, but I love the steering wheel. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and do you miss Johnny Ive's design? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but let me know what you think. Apple posted a new ad this week about upgrading to the iPhone 17 selfie camera. You can see it on Apple's YouTube channel here called Group Selfies, and it's available now if you want to check it out. Apple last week also announced that it's teaching robotics and Swift within the Indian supply chain. You can see their post about it here where it says Apple launches new education hub for supplier employees in India. So lots of news about that, how they're helping employees and making them have the opportunity to learn about robotics and much more. When it comes to app updates this week, well, there's good news if you've been using Anthropic's Claude, as they've promised to make it ad-free for the long term. So you'll see here, they announced here where Claude is a space to think on February 4th. So there's more information about this here, where they have different incentive structures and more, talking about how it will be ad-free. So that's great. If you've been using ChatGPT, they're starting to introduce ads, especially in the free tier. When it comes to weekly Apple deals, well, there's still some great deals on Apple Watch Series 11, starting at $299. There's deals on the latest iPad Air, as well as M4 MacBook Air, AirPods Pro 3, and more. I'll link all of those in the description below so you can see the latest Apple deals if you're looking to pick some of those up. When it comes to releases, Apple has been warning about the updated HomeKit to a version that they introduced some time ago. There's a new deadline that starts tomorrow where it says support for the previous version of Apple Home will end on February 10th. It says if you haven't updated yet, you're part of a home or home app that contains at least one smart home accessory, and basically you won't be able to use it properly. So make sure that you update already, and maybe this is why we haven't seen iOS 26.3 yet. Many of us expect it to launch any day now, and it includes new features and changes I've mentioned before, but that update is expected any day, and maybe that's why we haven't seen it. At least at the time of this video, we also haven't seen iOS 26.3 RC2, so maybe this will be the final build on the RC, or we'll have a new build when it releases to the public. But based on that, we could expect it as soon as tomorrow, maybe later today by the time you're watching this video, but later in the week I would definitely expect it either starting tomorrow or the day after that. After that, we can expect iOS 26.4, and that will be the version that shows off Siri 2.0. We've been waiting for this since Apple first showed off Apple Intelligence some time ago. According to Mark Gurman this weekend, he said iOS 26.4 Beta 1 will release during the week of February 23rd. He didn't specify that date, but that means we could have it in just a couple weeks where we'll be able to try it out like we could with Apple Intelligence. Whether or not it comes on a first-come, first-served basis, we don't know, but at least we'll have options to check it out in beta form at that point, and I would expect a public release probably sometime in late March or so. Of course, then we'll move on to WWDC and iOS 27, and Mark Gurman this weekend in his Power On newsletter has reiterated that iOS 27 will focus on performance improvements, bugs, and refining the design overall. He said that at WWDC 2026, Apple would reveal iOS 27 and it would be a fairly muted affair this year. The headline feature update would be a Siri chatbot with a more personalized interface. So similar to what we have with Gemini, also along with ChatGPT, where you can talk back and forth instead of it just being an assistant. So we expect this to roll out in stages with iOS 26.4, where we'll have upgraded Siri information, but then it will turn into a chatbot with maybe an all-new interface. Apple is planning to allow you to use AI in your car when you're using Apple CarPlay. According to Mark Gurman this weekend in his Power On newsletter, Apple is planning to let you use Gemini, ChatGPT, or Claude in an update in the future. Whether or not this is iOS 27 or something else, we don't know yet, but we could be able to use that chatbot, talk back and forth with better understanding of maybe where we're going and what we would want to stop at in between. Gurman has also said that Fitness Plus remains under review. This is something that's long been thought to be up in the air, as Fitness Plus may not be that successful. Apple's been rolling it out around the world, but at this point in the future, it may be rolled into something such as health in the future. Apple was originally going to integrate a health assistant similar to Siri, but this has been scaled back as well, and some of those features could make it to health over time. So according to Mark Gurman, they're really looking into Fitness Plus. Again, it could maybe roll into the health app, reducing some of the apps on our display. That would be nice to see. When it comes to the next iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected to get an even larger battery than we currently have in the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Digital Chat Station on Weibo this weekend has said to expect a battery increase to 5,100 mAh or 5,200 mAh when the new iPhone releases. We mostly expect the chassis to stay the same, and every 2 to 4 years Apple changes the design and gives it a refresh. So we'll probably see this same design for many years to come. iPhone 17e is coming very soon, according to Mark Gurman. Mark Gurman says the updated 17e will feature an A19 chip, will gain MagSafe, and also use the C1X modem and N1 chip for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Thread connectivity. He also says the price will stay starting at $599. It will most likely look exactly like the 16e with just a few updates. I've seen different people say that it will have the notch or it will have the dynamic island. There's no one claiming either way at this point, so maybe we'll get the dynamic island and get rid of the notch on all iPhones at this point. But we'll have to wait and see what they do, but we can expect one very, very soon. iPhone Fold is still expected later this year, and according to the Elec, Apple is working to make the inner display more durable and harder than what we've seen from others. Instead of having sort of a plastic inner display that you can dent very easily with your fingerprint or your fingernail rather, they're supposedly working on different materials such as CPI or clear polyamide, and that would hopefully improve overall durability. It's a more expensive technology, but could make it more durable over time, where you don't have to be as careful as you do with the current displays. They've gotten more durable over time, but they're still easy to break if you press your nail into it too hard, and then you could damage it. Hopefully this would prevent some of that. Also, a new base iPad is expected very soon, along with updated iPad Air models. According to the latest information from Mark Gurman, we could expect this very soon, with the base iPad expected to get the A18 chipset, and the iPad Air models will move up to the M4. So we'll see a replacement now that we have the M5 iPad Pro. Of course, every year they update the other iPads as well, and maybe we'll see an iPad mini later this year, but there's no time frame given for that just yet. While we've been waiting for the new MacBook Pros for a little while, it now seems we have a new time frame according to Mark Gurman this weekend. He now says that while macOS 26.3 is still the OS that will be launched with the new MacBooks, they now expect to launch as early as March 2nd. This makes more sense now that the Chinese New Year will end around that time, and the supply chain will now be able to provide them as normal. So that seems to make the most sense, and probably when we'll see them. We also expect upgraded M5 MacBook Airs in the near future, but the only change would be the chipset, so we could have the same colors and look, just basically a chip bump. The long-rumored less expensive MacBook is also expected soon, and it's expected to be based on an iPhone chipset, so it could be the A18, maybe A18 Pro, something along those lines. Mark Gurman also said to expect the new Mac Studio not too long after the spring refresh of Apple products. So that's something many people have been waiting for, myself included. We haven't seen any M5 Ultra, Pro, or Max chipsets just yet. However, the Studio display may not feature 120Hz ProMotion. In fact, the recent rumors say that it will only have 90Hz rather than 120. So this was according to a tip received by Mac Rumors. Hopefully that's not true. 90Hz is definitely better than 60, but with our phones at 120, iPads, and other MacBooks as well, I would love to see a display that runs ProMotion full speed. I'd love to see a Pro Display XDR and a Studio display at 120Hz or higher. Also later this year, MacBook Pros are expected to get a major update with an all-new design and OLED display. According to the elect, we can expect the update in the fourth quarter of 2026 when it comes to new MacBook refreshes. So that's everything for the latest news this week. Hopefully we'll have those new MacBooks very soon and that iOS update any day now. Let me know what you're looking most forward to in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.